You know what my key is for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Denver Broncos on Sunday? Win the football game.
Five things to watch here on KC Sports Network. Tucker Franklin hanging out with you, giving you 5 things you need to know for Chiefs at Broncos. I'm hanging out with the donkeys today here at Batchelder Family Farms because it's Donkeys Week. You know I had to get into the donkeys and mess around with these guys here. This guy here, that's Bert. This is Sugar. We are going to be talking Chiefs and Broncos. You guys know the drill. 5 things to watch. From here at Batchelder Family Farms, we're going to have Kent Swanson, Matt Lane, the KC Laboratory. We're going to have Benny Heisler. We're going to have Matt Lane, and we're going to, not Matt Lane, Matt Hamilton, and then Joshua Brisco to round things out. So let's go ahead and get it going. Kent, what do you got for me?
Thanks, Tuck. It is Kent Swanson and Matty Lane of the KC Laboratory. Beyond thrilled to be doing 5 things again, previewing a Chiefs football game. The bye week was lovely, but man, Matty, I'm so excited to be back talking football again.
Yeah, listen, I'm excited to be here. The bye week's always fun. It's a fun time. We all get to step away from football for a little bit, but we're done. After a week of that, and it's time to move on. It is time to talk about the Chiefs, who, hey, listen, they kind of need to turn it around. And this is the day where that starts, like the week where that starts, is they take on the Denver Broncos, and it's kind of a big game, Ken. I don't know if you know that.
I did not know that. I did not know the gravity of this football game. It's not like it decides whether or not the Chiefs are competitive in the AFC West or not. Not at all. Not even a little bit. So, and the Chiefs are a lock for the playoffs. And if the season ended today, they would totally be in. So, I don't know what the big deal about this game is and all this kind of stuff. But if you are going to go into Denver and beat the Denver Broncos, as Patrick Mahomes has done several times over the course of his career. Not bragging though. One of the things for this iteration of the Denver Broncos, the 2025 version, you've got to find a way to limit the explosive plays. It's been extremely feast or famine for these Broncos with their offense. There's touchdown, check down. There's touchdown and nothing in Denver right now. It's literally just the highest variance mess of an offense. The explosive plays are what this defense or what this offense is living by.
Yeah, that's been essentially how the Denver Broncos have put up enough points, in the weeks where they are winning the games right now. It's the explosive play, and it's very specifically the explosive pass play coming downfield from Bo Nix fighting somebody. I believe he is second in the NFL now in the total number of just deep passes that he's attempted. We're not even talking about yards after the catch, just pushing the ball vertically. He is attempting more than almost any other quarterback in the league trying to get the ball over the top, and their success rate isn't particularly high. They're not even that efficient with it when you break it down to how many, the EPA per play and everything on these deep shots. But that is where they are finding their offense. They are connecting enough to make that be essentially the cornerstone of the offense and how they're putting up points, and their defense is doing enough to keep them in it. So I think the biggest thing for the Chiefs in this game going up against this great defense, if they want to have a chance, they are probably going to have to make this Denver Broncos team march up and down the field and not give up any blown coverages, not let guys catch the ball out in the flat and take it for 40, 50 yards for a score. Make Bo Nix and this Denver Broncos team orchestrate a full long 10+ play drive and make them do it multiple times. Because from what we've seen this year, they can't do it unless they're playing the New York Giants. And that's only because Bo Nix is completing passes to guys he's not trying to.
Yeah, no, some of the aura, even of the big plays of Bo Nix, have been accidents. Let's be honest about him. That has absolutely happened, and they've won games because of it. And the good news for the Chiefs is they are very good at limiting explosive plays. This is one of the things that that is a hallmark of this defense, is they've been really good about limiting explosive big plays. And so they're going to have to continue to do that. It does in a lot of those ways, being good tacklers in the flats. Check. Chiefs are pretty good at that. Limiting explosives. Check. Pretty good at that. One of the things that we talked about during the lab this week is hey, making plays on the ball at the catch point, because Bo Nix is going to give these receivers opportunities down the field, and we've talked about this all week, right? They're going to get chances. It's not just going to be the design vertical post route that is on time, up and down into space, and Franklin's got to go run and get it, right? It's not just those kind of explosive passing plays. It's like, hey, he's not going to be afraid to throw the ball up to Cortland Sutton against Jalen Watson. He's done it before. Cortland Sutton's had a lot of success winning at the catch point. So that's a point of emphasis for this defense this week, is making sure, and like I'm sure you're going to hear afterwards, when the Chiefs beat the Broncos and when the Broncos don't have much success offensively, and when Jalen Watson tips a pass and Brian Cook catches it for an interception, it's going to be, we spent a lot of time this week emphasizing winning at the catch point because we knew Bo Nix was going to give us some chances. We knew we had to be good about playing the ball. I think that's going to be a point of emphasis for this team because they've got to. Look, sometimes you're going to have to be successful in those 50-50 chances. Hopefully, the pass rush is getting home enough to give this. To give these explosive play no chances of even materializing because the ball can't even get out of his hands and Bo Nix is having to cower and move his feet and then kind of just run away. But I think it's going to be both. You've got to, when they do get those opportunities down the field, you've got to be really good playing at the catch point as well. Do you have any hope that the pass rush can get going enough to try to, limit some of these explosives from happening too?
The Denver Broncos got a pretty solid offensive line kind of across the board. I think they're a little bit better of a run blocking unit than a pass blocking unit. So there's a chance the Chiefs could get some disruption, but man, we just haven't seen this Chiefs pass rush really take over a game or really impact it a ton so far this year. So I don't think they are going to come out and dominate it, but I do think that they could do enough. And as long as you can make Bo Nix not even actively be pressured, but if you can make him feel slightly uncomfortable, he is very quick to get on the move. And then once Bo Nix is on the move this year, he's done a really bad job, one, throwing on the move, but two, when he's chosen to run and scramble instead of trying to throw the ball, it's been relatively inefficient. It's just he's not accomplishing a lot. He's not picking up first downs. He's running for 8 yards on 3rd and 10. Nobody cares. So if you can just make him feel uncomfortable, just condense the space he has to work in, his mechanics really start to fall apart, and he has not really hurt any defense in the NFL this year when having to throw while moving his feet, while trying to get outside the pocket. So I think that's a big test for the defensive line. Now, it all is going to have to start, too. To even get to that point, you got to stop the run game. And the last time we saw this Chiefs defensive front, they didn't do a great job against the Bills run game. And I don't think the Denver Broncos is that good, but they will rely on it. Like, they will utilize the run game a lot. So they're going to have to earn their right to get after Bo Nix in this game. They will have to stop the run. Explosive runs, too. Same thing. The Broncos run game depends on explosive runs from J.K. Dobbins, from R.J. Harvey. So game will be cut out for them up front. And hopefully they perform a little better, again, than they did against the Buffalo Bills, because that was not their best performance of the season the last time we saw them.
Big opportunity for both sides of the football to get right here against the Denver Broncos in a massive, massive game that this team badly needs. I'm calling all Chiefs fans. You can be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now and enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pre-game coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. You're going to hear from a proud partner of Monday Labs, Matt Hamilton, right after this.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story. Like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner impossible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Thanks, guys. The one thing I'm looking for in this game is that Chiefs offensive line and pass protection up against this Broncos record-setting group of pass rushers. The Denver Broncos are on a historic pace right now as far as getting to the quarterback. They're averaging the second most sacks per game in NFL history up to this point in the season. So it is going to be a tall order up front for Kansas City. And that's what's going to determine this game ultimately, is how well they're able to handle that Broncos pass rush. And really, when you look at it, it's especially tough to handle because not only do you have an elite top tier pass rusher in Nick Finito that you have to worry about that has the speed, the explosiveness, the get off, but it comes from everywhere. The scheme from Vance Joseph is phenomenal as well. 16 different players have a sack already for this Broncos defense. So not only is the athleticism, the skill level from these tackles going to be important, but the chemistry and the communication up front, because, you know, a lot of these sacks come from breakdowns and protection with the different looks that Vance Joseph throws at you. So that's why I am especially interested, as everyone is right now, at what's going to happen at that left tackle position. Because again, you got to see if Josh Simmons is physically able to do it at a high level after missing all that time, if he's fully up to speed physically, because you have to handle that speed and explosiveness of Benito, but you also have to make sure he's up to speed mentally, and that the chemistry is there with Kingsley and with the rest of that offensive line, because one mental mistake could be catastrophic against a rush like this. So if you don't feel totally comfortable with where he is from a mental standpoint, even if he's good to go physically, this might not be the game to throw him back out there. It may be worth waiting another week. And I know that's not what Chiefs fans want to hear. That's not what anybody wants to see. You want him to be up to speed and able to go in this game because he has been playing at such a dominant level when he's been out there on the field. I think the third lowest pressure rate among tackles in the entire league in the games that he's played in. So you want him out there, but I think that has to be a factor, the mental aspect of it all. But it is good to see that the rest of this offensive line has been fully participating. Jawan Taylor, outside of the last game against the Bills that left a bad taste in everybody's mouth, he has played well this year. You just hope, again, he is fully participating. You hope he is fully healthy for this game because, again, the speed and explosiveness that the Broncos throw at you is a tall order. So if they are all healthy, ready to go, I like this group. This group has come a long way, but this is the ultimate test this week, and it is going to be fascinating to watch. Back to you guys. Back out here at Batchelder Family Farms, I'm hanging out with Brick as he is chowing down on a pumpkin. And I guess that kind of works right into my beef of the week, because I think Bo Nix is a pumpkin. My beef of the week is how teams and players and everyone around, basically the media, are talking about Bo Nix. Look, I understand that the Broncos have won a lot of games this year. You look at the games that they've won, they haven't played very many good football teams. And in those games that they've won, it's not because of Bo Nix. The Broncos are winning football games in spite of Bo Nix. I know there's a lot of talk about how they're comparing them to the Chiefs of last year. I think that's frankly ignorant, and people aren't watching the games when it comes down to it. The Patrick Mahomes Chiefs of last year were winning because of Patrick Mahomes, and a lot of things that were going against Patrick Mahomes, he was still willing them to victories. The Broncos are winning because of their defense, because of making plays outside of what Bo Nix is doing. There's levels to this, guys. There really is. And I know there's been a lot of disingenuous tweets out there comparing Patrick Mahomes and Bo Nix since Bo Nix came into the league. There's been a lot of tweets out there comparing how good Bo Nix has been against the Chiefs, conveniently leaving out that he's played one game against all of the Chiefs backups. I think that that's pretty convenient one out there too. There's also stuff out here about how the Broncos, Vance Joseph, has owned Patrick Mahomes. Frankly, not true. 271 yards a game is not owning Patrick Mahomes. I think it's frankly disingenuous for the conversation that's going around with Bo Nix. If you watch these football games, it is very clear that these two quarterbacks are not even close in the same conversation, but then you'll hop on Twitter and you'll have people draw stats from the box score. These box score watchers will be out here. These box score warriors will try to justify Bo Nix being in the conversation for a lot of these high awards and being held in a higher regard than he really is. Really, the problem is people aren't watching the Broncos. You know why? It's because they don't play a fun brand of football. They play teams that stink, and they ultimately, every game they play is ugly. If they had a good quarterback, maybe that wouldn't necessarily be the case. but frankly my beef of the week out here at Batchelder Family Farms is with how people are talking about Bo Nix. I think a lot of that conversation can be put to rest on Sunday if the Chiefs go out there, the Chiefs defense goes out there and puts on a show. Bo Nix hasn't had the test like the Chiefs defense. This is going to be the first real tough defense that he's had to face all year. He's played a lot of teams in the ass list that are below super mega ass. I mean, a lot of their wins have came against teams that are ultra mega ass and Jets. So it's frankly disheartening to see people try to make Bo Nix into something that he's not. There's a lot of Bo leavers out there. Do not let them trick you. Do not let them gaslight you into thinking Bo Nix is a good quarterback. Don't do it. I'm here to put that to a stop. All right, now let's go ahead and throw it to Benny Heiss for his pick of the game. Benny, what do you got for me?
All right, guys, appreciate it. What's going on, everybody? Ben Heisler, KCSN betting analyst. We got some thoughts on the Chiefs at the Broncos this week. Chiefs a 3.5 point favorite on the road at Mile High against the team that they are strangely looking up to in their division. So we'll get a play on that coming up in just a second. But before we do, got to ask you, what's your favorite touchdown? And for me, it continues to be, wait for it. Tell me if you've heard this one before. The next one. That's right. And that's because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the National Football League, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. There's so many different ways to get in on the action, whether it's a first touchdown score play, anytime touchdown props, or the thrill of live in-game betting. Every snap remains loaded with opportunity. And the best part about joining DraftKings Sportsbook is that new customers who bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you win $300 in bonus bets instantly. So how do we break down this matchup over in the Mile High City? The Chiefs a 3.5 point road favorite against the Broncos. Broncos plus 170 on the money line at DraftKings with a total that has shifted down from 44.5 down to 43.5. Now, in the interest of complete transparency, I have already bet the under at 44.5 earlier in the week, but I want to make sure that I'm relaying the most up-to-date line when we record this, and that's currently at 43.5. Again, don't like it as much as that original number of 44.5, especially going past that key number of 44, but this is the matchup that this direction is headed. And I think it's also an indicator of, we always hear the narrative surrounding Andy Reid coming off the bye, right? 22-4 straight up off the bye, but you know, if we're talking about against the spread, those numbers are actually closer to around 50%. And also, let's talk about the sort of the elephant in the room with Denver, right? 8-2 on the year, but they've trailed in all 10 games. This is a team that ranks highest in team rankings, luck rankings, all throughout the course of the season. They've had plenty of fourth quarter comebacks. At some point, this just isn't sustainable. We saw how poorly they played in their previous matchup against the Raiders. Yes, they have a little bit of extra time to prepare, but the Chiefs are also coming off of that bye. I expect this to be more of a defensive slugfest in Denver than maybe we're accustomed to seeing with some of the names on this offense and some of the back and forth matchups that we've seen before. So I think 43.5 still a reasonable total to get behind on the under. And we know what the Chiefs numbers, especially with second half unders, have been over the last few years. I think they play well, and I think they confuse Bo Nix. And if he does get something going, it might be a little too late. So give me the under 43.5 after already betting the under when it was at 44.5. So with all that being said, remember that if your team hits pay dirt, it pays out to you. Here's what you do. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use that code KCSN. That is code KCSN for new customers to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In DraftKings Sportsbook, in partnership with KCSN, the crown is yours. Remember, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Just call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. You must be 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, visit dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Hey, I'm Joshua Brisco, and I'm at most 33% of Only Weird Games, but I'm the only one bringing you a thing here today. So here's what I'm going to offer you. Here's what I'm going to suggest. I know you just heard a bunch of brilliant football minds talking about matchups or players, the trenches, the explosive plays. Yeah, we've covered that. You know what my key is for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Denver Broncos on Sunday? Win the football game. How about that? Yeah, we're not doing turnovers, not penalties, not a matchup. I'm not going any more granular than winning this football game. Here's why. Do you like your 9 consecutive AFC West championship hats and t-shirts that you have maybe all of, maybe almost certainly a couple of in your closet right now? If you'd like a 10th one, you need the Chiefs to win this football game. They know this. They were taking these questions throughout the week of press conferences, and obviously you're taking it one game at a time. Nobody wants to talk about a must-win game on November 16th. But ultimately, if the Chiefs wish to be in the hunt for the AFC West in a way that they have control over, this game is mandatory. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. It's shockingly easy for them to actually wrestle the control of the division away from the Broncos and to a lesser extent to the Chargers. As we stand now, the Broncos are 8-2, the Chargers are 7-3, and the Chiefs are 5-4. But if the Chiefs win 2 games against the Broncos and win their 1 remaining game against the Chargers, that brings everybody to 4 losses. It would make the Broncos 8-4, it'd make the Chargers 7-4, it'd make the Chiefs 8-4. Obviously, that is not including the rest of the schedule, but the point of that exercise is to say, if the Chiefs win the rest of their AFC West games, then I'm going to go ahead and chalk up that season ender against the Raiders in the win column as well. If the Chiefs essentially just sweep the Broncos, 2 wins over a team that has 2 losses on the season right now, easier said than done, but that's the standard. If the Chiefs beat the Broncos twice, starting on Sunday and then again on Christmas Day, you're going to have to wait a really, really, really long time for the second half of this potential sweep. But if the Chiefs win those games, they are the rightful favorites in the AFC West. If they win on Sunday, they are the rightful favorite in the AFC West. It will, of course, as everyone else has talked about, it will matter how the Chiefs look in the effort. But if they win that game as ugly as the Broncos won 10-7 over the Raiders on Thursday Night Football last week, if the Chiefs win that game 10-7 and they do it with a blocked punt turned into a field goal in the red zone, I will not feel great about things come Monday morning, but I'm not going to be complaining or apologizing for it. A ugly win is always better than a beautiful loss, but never more so than in a circumstance like this. It's not quite a playoff game. The Chiefs could lose this game and still be, I think almost certainly have to be, one of the favorites to land a wild card spot in a messy AFC. But the other side of this coin is that if the Chiefs drop this game against the Broncos, Denver is now 9-2 with at worst an even tiebreaker against the 5-5 Chiefs. You need more than help. You need a borderline miracle. The Broncos, I am not a huge believer in. I am not a believer at this point either. But their schedule the rest of the way is not packed with 4 obvious losses. The Broncos deserve credit for what they've done to this point, and their record is, and still in my mind, the record is clearly the scariest thing about them. You must take a chunk of that away from the Broncos. You must begin to even that playing field. And if it's all said and done, and we're back here on Monday, on Sunday night, we're all enjoying a nice little Chiefs-Broncos victory, a Chiefs victory over the Broncos, to be incredibly clear. Now you're talking about a 6-4 Chiefs team that is going up, that just defeated an 8-3 Broncos team, and you tell me if anyone in Denver, if anyone in Broncos country is not going to be absolutely sweating terrified by the idea of what's about to happen in the second half of the season in the AFC West. They were booing the offense at home because it couldn't do anything against one of the worst defenses we've ever seen. That is a fan base that still has rightful questions about what their offense is capable of. It's a very good defense, but it's banged up. If the Chiefs win this game, the AFC West isn't quite reset. The Broncos still have a head start, but the Chiefs are going to go right back to where they're expected to be, which is fighting for the crown. Still more of a long-term fight than in years past, but you're expecting that a 10th consecutive AFC West championship is very much on the table. if they lose to the Broncos, I don't think we can really be talking about the AFC West until the Broncos stumble, if they do it all. That's my one thing, and I did it all myself. Hopefully, Patrick Mahomes doesn't have to do it all himself on Sunday.
All right, that's 5 things for you here on KC Sports Network. We're going to keep it short, keep it to the point. Join us after Chiefs and Broncos. Thank you to our wonderful host, Batchelder Family Farms, for having me out at the farm, talking Chiefs and Donkeys. Can't wait for this one. We'll be live after the game. Make sure to hang out with us there on the Chiefs YouTube page. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you after a Chiefs win.